All right. Hello, everybody. It is me. It's your fave blogger, your girl, Lady Blue, and I am coming to you live on WMSKOnlineRadio.com, where talk radio just got better. I am trying this morning to get Facebook Live to work, okay? And Facebook Live is giving me what for this morning, okay? I was so excited to get it on my phone. I've been using it, and now today, here it is. I want to record my show, and it decides that I don't need any sound today for some reason. So if anybody got any suggestions as to why my phone and Facebook Live are not working together this morning, please let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to carry on because all y'all should be on the WMSK Online Radio app anyway, listening to this show. If you don't have it, go download it from Google Play, iTunes, or any Android app store. Tune in, take us with you on the go. What better way to listen to Lady Blue but while you're doing your daily stuff, right? Right. In the meantime, what we are going to do is I've got a special guest coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, unless you've been under a rock. I am going to be talking to life coach, marriage counselor, mentor, Miss Charmaine Randall of Live for Life, okay? Or Leap for Life, excuse me, Leap for Life. And we are going to have a wonderful discussion with her in the 10 o'clock hour, so I am looking forward to that. In the meantime, I'm going to mention something that really needs to be mentioned, and that's regarding 50 Shades of Blue. Ladies and gentlemen, it is on, okay? We finally got the space on lock. Event is up on Facebook. I am so excited about it. 50 Shades of Blue will be happening on October 22nd. Take note of the time and the location. October 22nd, 2016, from 2:30 to 4:45 p.m. at the Enoch Pratt Library Waverly location. That is at 400 East 33rd Street in Baltimore, Maryland. Jot that down, mark your calendar, do whatever you got to do. It is at 2:30 to 4:45 at the Enoch Pratt Library on 400 East 33rd Street in Baltimore, Maryland. I am excited about it. I have got a lineup of great speakers. We might even have a couple of musicians coming in because I got some late posts last night. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an event to remember. Here's what I need from you all that are listening to me out there. I have a GoFundMe page set up, and it's at www.gofundme.com/50 Shades of Blue 2016. Now, my goal, and I'm going to mention this, my goal is 1,500. Okay? We're at 200. Your donations are needed. The donations, all proceeds from this event are going to a local domestic violence awareness organization. Okay? The things that I have posted, the things that I am concerned about, the biggest thing that I'm concerned about is that funding is being cut for domestic violence programs, not just in Maryland, but across the country, because they don't deem it necessary, okay? And 9 times out of 10, nothing is done for a domestic violence victim until it's too late. Giving them money towards their funeral, that disturbs me greatly. We need to do more. Your donation will help whatever organization that this goes to, which will be announced at the event. It will help with court costs, counseling, transportation, food, shelter, clothing, job interview classes, resume writing classes, the things that are needed, financial planning, all of these things that are needed to put these individuals back in productive society. Now, the other thing that I want to state is that it is not just women that go through domestic violence. It affects the heterosexual, the same-sex partner, children, all of that is affected. Homicide is the #1 cause of domestic violence. I shouldn't say cause, but it's the #1 factor that comes out of domestic violence in the LGBT community, okay, in the transgender community, okay. If you see some of my posts, men are affected greatly by domestic violence, okay? Their wife or their girlfriend. I believe it's, don't quote me, but if you go look at my Facebook page, it's every 14.6 seconds or 13.6 seconds. A man is assaulted by his wife or his girlfriend. Okay, so if you see a guy walking down the street, don't just assume he just got into it at the club last night, because that may not be what the case is. Okay, we need to make sure that we're paying attention. We need to make sure that we're understanding the signs, just like mental illness, just like all these other things that we see that are going on around the country. This needs as much a voice as everything else. Not only are we celebrating the survival of domestic violence, we're helping those that are going through right now. We are also celebrating survival of cancer of any form, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, thyroid cancer, whatever it is. If you're going through it, if you've survived it, if you're in remission, if you're going through chemotherapy right now, we want you to be there. Okay, I lost a very dear friend of mine earlier this year to thyroid cancer. I lost a cousin to ovarian cancer. I lost my dad and my grandfather to colon cancer. So cancer is something that is not unfamiliar to me. It's not anything that I don't know something about. We have people coming in to talk about lupus. We have people coming in to talk about fibromyalgia, abuse, and I'm talking either sex abuse, drug abuse, whatever the abuse is. They're coming in to talk about it. So we have got a serious lineup going on. We've got folks like Poetless Shakespeare, Nisi, Poet Renee. We've got, oh my goodness, see, I'm already drawing a blank here. We've got a number of people, and I need you to go check out the event on Facebook, on my website, ladyblueone.com, all across social media, Instagram, Twitter. It's on Blastfy, you name it, I got it out there. And I want you all to just take a moment and think. Most of us have someone in our family who has been subject to some form of domestic violence or abuse. So this is not a subject to take lightly. And I will be mentioning this again throughout the show about going over to the website. The event is free to the public. Please tag, share, repost, skywrite, tattoo it, slap a poster on a board, whatever. We're reprinting the posters or the flyers, and those will be out very soon. So if you want any of the flyers to hand out, please, by all means, hit me up here at the station. Send me an email. Send me a message on my Instagram. Send me a message anywhere I am on social media. I will make sure that you get some flyers. Now, moving on. One thing that I do want to talk about is I saw a very interesting story on Facebook, and it touched my heart very, very deeply. And the reason it touched my heart is this. When I was a senior in high school, I actually was on the ballot for prom, for homecoming. That about floored me. I didn't even run. I had no idea anybody was even thinking about me for homecoming, this, that, and the other. So I got quite a shock. At that age, I wasn't really thinking about, being queen and dressing up and things like that. I was more into dance at that time. But the story that caught my attention was of two best friends in Texas. And one is a quarterback, and the other one wants to play football but can't because he's suffering from cerebral palsy, or cerebral palsy, however it is you wish to pronounce it. Okay? And they're best friends. The one is the quarterback, and the other one is the manager of the team. Okay? And when it came time for the announcement of the prom king and queen after the homecoming game, naturally the quarterback was crowned, and his friend was the one who came to put the crown on his head. And when he got the crown, he turned around and he abdicated his throne and gave the crown to his friend. And he said because his friend deserved it more than he did for the things that he's done, and he has not let his disability or his inability stop him from living a full life. That right there, that young man has a very big heart. Very big heart. He was not worried about being popular. He was not worried about being liked. He was not worried about who was going to say whatever to him. He thought of his friend. That was very selfless of him. I applaud that young man for what he did, and I appreciate him for thinking of his friend and making him feel special in that moment. And you know, you could tell that they're best friends. They're going to be best friends for quite a while. Another thing that I did notice was there was a video out. If you haven't seen this, go over to the Lady Blue, the Real Lady Blue One page, and check out this video. It is a music video, a swing band, and fantastic video. Every person in this video has a disability. And the unique thing about the video is the fact that their disability doesn't stop them from doing what they're doing. And it is fantastic. The lead singer is confined to a wheelchair, but he was all over the place. The drummer, no arms, was playing the drums with his feet. The pianist was blind. Okay, you had saxophone players. You had the the horn section. Everybody had some type of disability, and then throughout the video, you got to see others doing what they love to do and not letting their disability stop them. So you had one doing karate, you had one doing swimming, you had one doing painting, it was fantastic. And I love to see that kind of enthusiasm for life. And they have something that has been taken from them, whether it's their ability to walk, see, talk, hear, it doesn't matter. They don't let that stop them. And you have to wonder, those of us who have all our capabilities, what are we doing with our life? Doesn't that make you think? What are we doing with our life that these folks are out there living it and they're enjoying it and they're having the best time ever, and we're sitting here complaining whether it's too hot or the sun's too bright and oh my arm hurts and oh my feet. Yes, we all go through daily pains. Believe me, I get it. Okay, I go through daily pains. But the point of the matter is that you don't let what you don't have stop you from getting what it is that you want out of life. That is just powerful for me today, and I hope you all take that with you with everything that that's going on in your life. Now, I'm going to move on to a couple of things that I said I was going to talk about, that have been really, really disturbing me. And I know I tell you all that I don't focus on negativity, but I live in a world where, you can't help it. It's there, it's in front of you. I choose to look for the positive in everything. And I think what I have to say really needs to be mentioned. And let me just state that this is my opinion from this girl. It does not reflect this station at all. I just need to say this because it is on my heart and it is on my mind, and I feel it needs to be said. I am sick and I am tired of the senseless killings that are going on across the country. It is getting to the point where people are fearing going outside. People, and when I say people, I'm talking about the African American community, the black community. Fear of going outside, fear of driving your car, fear of walking down the street, fear of, it's just fear all the way around. I'm sorry, I'm sick of it. I'm point blank sick of it. And the other thing that I'm sick of is that when you see these, and please do not get me wrong, I understand the pain. Okay? I understand the pain of losing someone. I've lost someone dear to me to gunplay. I've witnessed shooting. So I understand that. It's not something that's foreign to me. But here's my thing. If anybody watched The View yesterday, not The View, excuse me, the other show on CBS that I can't even think of right now. But anyway, if you watched that yesterday, she was very emotional about what she had to say. And I agree wholeheartedly with her that people will not understand until they've walked a mile in our shoes. To have to fear, and we have to remember, we were not made to fear. We live in a society that wants to perpetuate fear. When you question getting in your car, when you question going to the grocery store, when you are so busy looking over your shoulder instead of going about your day. Something is wrong. I don't I'm the daughter of a law enforcement officer. Let me just put that out there. Love my dad. God rest his soul. He passed away 6 years ago. Every police officer is not a bad police officer. So when you go and you make your statements, stop pooling everybody into one basket. All incidents are separate. All incidents are taking place in different entities and different counties and states. All police officers are not bad police officers. Let me just say that first of all. My dad was not a bad police officer. How do I know? Well, I should know. I was his daughter. I watched this man come and go. I watched this man deal with lockdowns, prison riots, shootings, barricades, everything else. So I know, okay? My whole thing is the actions of the one do not perpetuate the actions of all. You have those out there that are doing the right thing. You have those out there that are upholding the law to the best of their ability. You have those out there that, yes, okay, sometimes they even question what they're doing, but you also have to understand they're human beings as well. They have to take that uniform off. They have to go home. They want to hug their family just as well. And I'm just sick and tired of seeing everybody point the finger at the police force. The police force didn't do it. That one person did it. Yes, they are a member of the police force, but the entire police force was not there when that individual did what they did. I'm the one that shot the pastor in Oklahoma. Shame on you. You changed your story about 4 different times, and now your lawyer has a whole different subject on what's going on. You did it. You were wrong. Deal with it. Okay? Whatever happened in North Carolina, oh my God, stop. Looting, destroying, destruction. Is it bringing this person back? No, it's not. Is it solving the problem? No, it's not, because none of you are stopping long enough to try and solve the issue. Talk it out. Going and busting somebody's windows is not helping the situation. I'm sorry, that's just me. I have to say that, okay? It's not solving. We as a community are so busy destroying from within that we are not looking at what's coming at us. And we need to sincerely look at what is being perpetuated around us that is causing us to go boom from within. What the problem is right now is that the majority is waking up. And that is what is scaring the outside, those that are not of the African American community. We're waking up. We are telling you that we are not as dumb as you think we are. We have a brain, we can think, and yes, we can be as well educated as we like. And mind you, society does its best to try and put us in a whatever you want to call it. They try to put us in this category, in this box. I'm sick of Donald Trump. The presidential race is driving me absolutely bonkers. The backbiting, the stabbing, the stuff that's going on with the banking community. Just our lives in general are being turned upside down. The deal with Colin Kaepernick, leave it alone, people. You need to go personally, go and really look at what it is that Colin Kaepernick is standing against. It is not the flag that he has a problem with. And if you really listen, you'll understand that what he's doing has nothing to do with the flag or the great nation of the United States. It has to do with what has been perpetuated within this country. That is where the problem is. So we need to leave that alone. As far as the deal with Donald Trump is, I'm sure that I may lose a few friends on Facebook and a few listeners. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, just like I'm entitled to my opinion. I'm sick of it. 1 minute you say something, and the next minute you're trying to back up, saying that you never said what you said, and you're trying to backpedal out of it. Look, a liar is a liar. There, I said it. A liar is a liar. And politicians have been screwed since get-go. It's all about what can I get as opposed to what I can do. So we need to really sincerely stop with the hurting and the killing and the shooting. And I know it's not going to stop just because I'm saying it, but we need to do something. We need to take a stand. We need to put our foot down and say, no more. That is what needs to happen. We need to take back our neighborhoods, our communities. We need to stop filtering all our money to the entities that aren't doing a thing for us while we're destroying the ones that are trying to do something for us. Stop putting down your neighbor, the business entrepreneur, the person who is doing the same thing that you're filtering all your money to, a person that you don't know, won't see, can't talk to, won't hear from, whether you email or show up at their door, and you're looking right at Johnny Two-Step next door to you, who is doing the same thing, giving you the same product with the same, not the same customer service, but even better customer service, and you won't even give them the time of day. We are destroying ourselves from within. Cut it out. Now, I've said what I had to say on that note, okay? I don't do well with liars. I don't do well with cheaters, and I don't do well with backpedalers. I really, really don't. Okay? I want us to work together. We need to be a collective community. We need to support each other. We need to stop feeling that somebody is taking something away from us. If our brother or our sister makes it before we do, that is a goal for you as well, because that means that you can step up too. Stop looking at it as a defeat and start looking at it as that opportunity to follow in those footsteps. Put your foot in that footprint and do you. That is what's important. Do you. We need it. We need the support. We need to stop tearing each other down. We need to stop dragging each other back down the ladder, trying to get to the top. And then what do you do when you get to the top? You forget who you stepped over. You got a ladder goes up, but I tell you what, it's easy to get up there, but it's a lot harder coming down. Okay? You got to bypass all those people you stepped on. Remember that. So, on that note, I am going to let that alone now and just say we need to start supporting each other. But we're going to come back. We're going to have our special guest on the show, and that is Charmaine Randall, life coach, marriage counselor, mentor, and she's going to join us, and we're going to talk about her company and the things that she's got going on in the state of Maryland. So y'all come back with me. This is Lady Blue of the Lady Blue Radio Show, live on WMSKOnlineradio.com, where talk radio just got better. Hello, everybody. It's me. It's your girl. It's Lady Blue. I am so sorry. I'm having a morning. Anyway, we're going to get in with our special guest and get her on this phone and get things to rolling. So just bear with me while we get her on. And we are going to be talking to Miss Charmaine Randall here shortly. And I hope everybody's having a fabulous day out there while we are waiting for Miss Randall to get on the phone. And we're going to make this a show to remember. How about that? Okay? It has been an interesting morning for Lady Blue, but we'll get into that later.
Hello?
Hello, Miss Randall.
Hello, how you doing?
I am fine. How are you, Miss Lady?
I'm good, I'm blessed. I woke up this morning.
All right, there ain't nothing wrong with that one. Okay, so Miss Randall, you are on the Lady Blue Radio Show live on WMSKOnlineradio.com, and we are happy to have you on the show. Let's just get started, jump right into it, and tell my listeners a little bit about you and what you do and why you're doing it.
Okay. Well, I am I don't even know what to say. I am actually the CEO, the owner of Leap for Life. I'm a life coach and a mentor, and me and my husband, it's a husband and wife team, and we do marriage and family counseling. We did that for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons we actually started doing marriage and family counseling is because as we've been married for 20 years, and we've been through all different types of scenarios, and we found that there was really no dedicated help and support out there.
Okay.
So, we've been through many of things, and just really didn't have any kind of support system. So, we resorted to the church, which is always the best thing. But we wanted to give people and families a really good Christian base background and a really good, true supporting system.
Right.
That's really why we discovered it, and we wanted to have some genuine. We both wanted to be therapists in the beginning, and then we kind of read from that and decided that we believed our community needed something more than just someone who was going to listen to your past, but more so to move you forward in your future. Okay. That's kind of why we started Leap for Life.
Okay, awesome. And how long has Leap for Life been a company?
Leap for Life has been a company for a little over 2 years.
Okay. What was it like to get Leap for Life started?
Really, the funny thing, it wasn't really hard. Me and my husband, I graduated with my master's in 2013. He graduated in 2014, and actually, we were kind of debating if we really wanted to go do the internship stuff, and then we decided nope. And I'm like, hey, what about life coaching? Why can't we just approach them in a different angle? Mm-hmm. And I just decided, because I'm crazy, so I just do things out the box. Uh-huh. I'm like, you know what? I want to do this. I really want to help people. I'm talking to people every day. Why not? And my husband's like, okay, let's go do it. So we sit down. Actually, it was on my son's birthday, and just went through the system, came up with a name, and just created it. And everything we did, we had a full-time job while we were doing it. So as we were doing it, we would come home in the evenings, and we just focused on it and just drove on it. About 4 months after getting getting everything down and getting legalized, we wanted to go in and get an office. Still continued to work both our full-time jobs. Went there in the evening, got clients, mentored and coached, and just kept pushing it and seeking, and started doing events and stuff, to get out there and reach different people.
Awesome.
And talked about it every day. You got to talk about it. Yeah. If you don't talk about it, you ain't gonna be about it.
Out there you go. Hello. Okay. So you mentioned that at first was your husband like not on board, or was it that he just didn't see where it was going to fit in both of your schedules?
I think he was on board. I got to say it again. I'm one of those crazy go-getters, so I just say, okay, I'm going to do this and do it. I don't look at the consequences behind it. So I think he was like, okay, she's crazy. But he went along with it. He didn't go, okay, no, we can't do this. He was like, okay, here's your vision. Let's just go, and let's see where we're going to go with it. And it, so far, thank God, it's been a blessing. God has kept us moving.
All right. So when you first started out, where are you located? Let's put that first. Where's Leap for Life located?
Leap for Life is located in Spotsylvania. I just say the Delmarva area because we do more traveling to our clients than we do anything in the office. So anywhere between Virginia, D.C., and Maryland.
Okay. All right. So you're a traveling entity, not just a stationary one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do both of you go when it's time to do the coaching?
It all depends. It all depends on the client. When we do our initial intake, it depends on what they want. We have done together when we've had couples, and if generally if it's a woman, I generally do it. I'm firm with staying in with the woman because I know women. I'm a woman,
right.
And generally he will go with a male unless there's a strange request. But then we're really reserved if a male says, okay, I want to have the lady coach me, to be like, well, kind of ask more questions as to why. But it all depends. So it really depends on what the client actually requests.
Okay. All right. And so is it okay, I know you do marriage counseling and then life coaching. So it's not just married couples. You're taking care of the single individuals as well. Oh, no.
It's single individuals. It's children. I leave it up to really what the client's request may be. I mean, we do focus groups, we do one-on-one, we do youth mentoring, okay. We do relationships. So it really all depends.
Okay. And so tell me what, when you first started out, what was your very first meeting or call like? Do you remember it?
Oh, wow. I think the first call that we actually got was actually from a deacon who was having a relationship out of wedlock. Oops, excuse me. Didn't turn my phone off. Was actually a deacon who was actually having relationships with a girl outside of marriage. Yeah, that was quite interesting.
And both of you went to that?
Yes, okay. They actually weren't coming to our home.
Okay.
And it was quite interesting. You know, I think my husband's first thought was, we not pastors or ministers, so why are we coaching and mentoring and helping a deacon figure out what he should be doing right? Should he already know? Mm-hmm. But I mean, like I told my husband, it's not about what gets to us, is what we're called to do. Obviously, God foreseeing that, you know, we needed to assist in this matter.
Right. I guess what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is that we have to remember that, you know, deacons, pastors, people like that, they're people too. And,
absolutely, 100%.
Right. They go through their own issues, their own problems that are not church related. So we can't always expect the church to just solve everything that's going on. And
it's true.
Well.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people think because people go to church that, you know, that they can't make mistakes, or, you know, they don't have problems or issues, but they do. They're human. Mm-hmm. They have the same issues and mistakes we do.
Yeah. So tell me the difference between life coaching and counseling.
I knew that question was going to come up. I knew it. Well, okay, so life coaching. Well, let's just start with counseling. So counseling is really, it goes more back into your past history. You know, it digs deep, and, you know, you got to go to the past to bring the future, to get to the future. Life coaching, well, I like life coaching because we don't really deal with the past. It works more on the here and now, and figuring out who that person really is in that moment, and getting them to be where they want to be in the future. So that's really the difference. It's the here and now, where therapy more so on let's deal with current issues, yes, but before we can really resolve the current issues, we have to go back into the past and kind of see, you know, how were you raised, you know, what backgrounds do you have. Mm-hmm. Life coaching, we don't really do that.
Okay, and then, of course, you know, we all know what marriage counseling is, so we don't need to discuss, we don't need to break that down. We know what marriage counseling is. But in a marriage, don't you feel that sometimes you mix in a little bit of life coaching as well as, of course, the counseling?
Oh, absolutely. And you can't. People think that most of my clients come to us and like, okay, you got to fix this. Well, the process starts off with we have to work individually with each person, because especially if the person hasn't had premarital counseling, you can't get them on the same page, because, you know, people get married, they move in, and they believe everything is supposed to fall into place. Mm-hmm. You know, as simple as someone not putting on a cap on the toothpaste, you know, container could be a big issue. Right. So we have to first figure out what makes the lady tick, what makes the male tick, and then we come together to say, okay, you know, and they have a lot of, you know, tests and surveys that they have to complete to see really if they're really compatible. And even if they're not compatible, it still can work, but then they have to have the wanting desire to work. Yeah. And as long as that's there, it works. But you really have to divide them up first to really see, because one person is going to share one story one way, and the other one's going to see it a different way. So you got to kind of see where it is before you can really dig in and say, okay, well, I think this is the issue. What do you think? And, you know, how can we fix this issue, to try to figure out what's the root cause? Because you got to get to the root cause.
Right. Okay, agreed. So even in when you've got a session going on, okay, and mm-hmm. do you? I mean, things could go along swimmingly, or you could get a red light. Have you ever had to stop something in the middle of it and just say, okay, you know, we're going to have to do this at another time because?
Oh yeah. Things can.
How you
want to do?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but how does that affect your sessions if you ever get those red flags and you got, you know you want to do something for this person, but you feel that you can't?
what generally happens is it does happen probably more so than often because there's usually one person who's usually more strong-headed than the other person. And what you do at that point, you just tell them, hey, look, okay, so here is the underlying issue that I'm seeing right now. And because of this issue, I think we need to branch off and do individual sessions until we can resolve the issue individually. And once we can resolve it individually, then we'll come back. But we come back with guidelines and rules, and you can't cross these boundaries.
Okay.
Because obviously, if you want to continue to argue and debate it, then we're not going to get anywhere.
Right.
We're in counseling because we're trying to diffuse all of that. And, you know, you really also, when you start bringing them together and you get ready to get into a heated conversation, one of the things I like to do is to make sure they understand the communication piece.
Okay.
You know, and I will give them exercises to do at home. You know, what does communication really look like in a relationship? You know, what are the bad signs that you can do? You know, rolling of the eyes can make someone shut down. So really making sure they understand that, because even in a session, they may be sitting across from each other or beside each other, but we all naturally look at people's, you know, their body language. Body language means a whole bunch.
Yeah.
You know, we could have a man in there that's saying something, and you could instantly see the woman shut down. You know, so you got to kind of make sure all that, because all that plays in the part to make sure that it's a successful, you know, meeting.
Okay. So now you just said something that's like really huge with me is body language. Body language, body language, body language. I'm not going to say it like that. It's just give a couple of samples of body language and what the meaning of that body language is, like crossing your arms. You just said rolling your eyes. Crossing your arms, the deep sigh, or, you know, the slumping of shoulders. Each of those have a different meaning. So give a little bit of an example of what those body definitions are.
I think, okay, well, let's start with the eye contact. You know, eye contact means a lot. You know, it tells you that the person is not interested. You know, it could mean that the person, whatever topic you're talking about at the time, they could be ashamed about it. You know, it could show that, you know, it's a very difficult situation that we're about to discuss. And it all is clear. Eye contact, you know, for the most part, when you're talking about a serious topic such as in, you know, relationships and marriages, if the person really can't, and they're looking down, or, you know, their eyes are all over the place, it's really something they're not comfortable to. And for a counselor to see that, it's a sign to you, you know, to me rather, that you know, you need to take note of that and address that in a private session with them and try to figure out, dig deeper, because maybe there's something that they're hiding. If a person gets really loud and, you know, is really more aggressive when we're talking about a topic, you know, that could show that there is definitely who the person is in control of the relationship. You know, could be why we're here, why they came to us, because there's always a person's always overshadowing someone's voice, and their voice can't get heard, because people do it all the time. You know, if I don't really want to listen to you, I'm just going to get loud, and then what happens? We generally shut down. So those are some of the main things, you know, that people generally will shut down really quick from. Awesome. You know, or you can tell a lot from. You can tell a whole bunch from someone when they do different types of body language. You know, now if you see somebody really starting to swing their arms and stuff, then obviously that's a whole other different level, because you know that could be potentially a violent situation. But generally, most things we see is people yelling, or the different eye contact, where a person could be very timid and really just scared to open up. And at that point, you have to do more individual work with that person to be able to get them and to build their self-esteem so that they'll want to even address the issue.
Right. Because the biggest thing for me is, and the one thing that I learned is about, you know, the crossing of arms, because the crossing of arms is a defense mechanism. And it literally says, okay, I hear you, but I really do not feel like talking about this right now. And
yeah, I give up. I give up. I'm not doing this.
And basically, you know, that's it. And it's just even with, like you said, I remember I had an issue with eye contact. I just could not do it. It took everything in my power to look at a person, because for some reason it was like, okay, you can see all the way into my soul, and you know I'm not saying what I need to be saying to you, don't you?
Yeah, it was. And it's true too. And it also shows that when they do that, when people do that, it shows that they're really timid, or they're scared. You can really tell someone's really, they've really, how do you say the word, really been controlled. And I hate to say the word controlled, but, when a person shuts down and, their eyes, and actually they lower their eyes in their arms, and they fold their arms up, definitely, you can control the relationship, and two, you can have a voice whatsoever, and you really got to get them to have a voice, because that's one of the ways you're going to be able to have a successful relationship. A relationship is not built on one person, it's built on two people being united together.
Okay, and notice she just said a very important point. Two people. Not one, not one or the other. Two people. That's why they say it at the altar, two become one, but there's still two individuals up there. Okay.
Absolutely. Listen, yes.
Okay. But okay, so you mentioned that you've done, the individual sessions, you've done group sessions. What's the largest group session you've done?
The largest group session I have done as of right now, I believe, is 35.
Okay. Do you do like the businesses or like, professional group meetings, or is it more like just the whole family, like a group of 35 family members?
My target generally is more on the line of, I do a lot of focusing with women, so I do a lot of women's seminars and retreats to really kind of, one thing I have learned, and even through my own experiences, that we're really not taught to love ourselves. We're taught to love everybody else, and everybody else seems to matter. So I've kind of took the approach, even when I'm dealing with married couples, I always talk to the ladies about, you have to love yourself, because before you can love anybody else the proper way, you have to love yourself, and that in itself is awesome, because then you set a standard of how you want somebody else to treat you.
That's right.
And oftentimes, we as women, even as mothers, we don't look at it. We're too busy raising our children. We're too busy taking care of our men, taking care of the household. But really, when I ask a lady, even in a marriage session, what do you do for you? When do you take that time just to reconnect with yourself? And I don't mean going to get your nails done, going out and buying a new pair of shoes. I mean really connect with yourself and say, hey, what do I want for me? What do I desire? What do I need? So that's what most of my seminars and my group sessions are about. It's really the one-on-ones with them and sharing different things that happen, with different ladies, because we all have a story, and what better way to learn is through someone else, through what someone else is going through.
Now that is interesting that you said that. It's not about when you get your nails done or your hair did, or when's the last time you wear red bottoms. It is.
Yeah, it's not. And the crazy thing is, there's a lot of ladies out there, men too, they got to get their cars and stuff, but there's a lot of us out there that believe that's it, I got my nails done, I'm good. No, you're not, because I can guarantee you that somewhere there you're still dealing with self-rejection, self-esteem, and that's not. You have to be confident enough, Example would be, I had a girl the other day who was talking about, yeah, girl, I got my nails done, I went and did this, got my hair done, and I was like, okay, so what'd you do for yourself? I did that for myself. I didn't know you did that for everybody else. What do you do for yourself? When's the last time you took a walk in the park to yourself and just sit down? Better yet, when have you sit in the bathtub, had a bubble bath, no music, and just meditated to yourself? Hey, am I where I want to be? Do I want something different? Have that conversation with yourself. That's what I mean about, inside of yourself. And she's like, oh, I don't do that. I'm like, well, why not? Oh, why you got time? Wait a minute, you got time for yourself, but you got time for everybody else. I'm confused.
Oh my goodness, you are hitting on some seriously good points right now, because I always tell my children, don't be afraid to go to a movie by yourself. Don't be afraid to go and have lunch by yourself, because then you can discover you and who you are, and you don't have anybody interrupting you except yourself. And then that way you learn what it's like to be in your own company. And once you understand
I love my company,
you can deal with a lot of other people because you know what your comfort level is.
Absolutely. And I tell my daughter, and I've always told her, I only got one girl and 3 boys, and I tell my daughter all the time, you know what? You will be the best you can be when you learn yourself. Learn yourself first. And she did, You know, so sometimes I look at her and be like, Lord, girl, where you get this from? This is me. I love me. Okay, all right, it's you. Do your thing. But, you know, you set a standard. You set a standard for how you're going to raise your kids, how you want your kids to be, what kind of relationship you're going to be, what you're going to take in that relationship, what you're not going to be. And 9 out of 10 chances, when you learn yourself, you're going to set that standard from the very beginning.
Yes.
So, you know, you're going to lose some friends. Oh, well, too bad. They don't fit in your little pretty little picture.
Right.
But you've got to take yourself. And that is a good roadblock. It's like, oh, well, that's selfish. That's immature. No, it's not. There is nothing wrong with you loving yourself. You know, why is nothing wrong with you loving yourself? Because guess what? You got to die alone. Ain't nobody going with you.
Yep.
And you have to be the person that's going to be able to respond to God, saying, well, why did you do this? You can't say, well, I did this because Tommy told me to. No. That's not how that works. You know, you still have a purpose that you must live. We all have that purpose. So how are you living in that purpose? Because you're going to have to answer that call.
Ooh, y'all better be listening. Living in your purpose. Okay, I'm going to have to write that down. Living in your purpose. Okay. I always say it about pushing your purpose, you know, because once you find out what your purpose is, that's where your passion lies, as far as I'm concerned. Your purpose and your passion are one and the same, because you're being led by your spirit. And I know we're kind of getting a little bit off the track here, but there's kind of a little bit of a kindred spirit here. I have 1 girl and 3 boys.
Yeah.
And yeah, they drive me nuts. Okay.
My
mom has been driven nuts by 3 boys and a girl. But the point being is that I've watched my 2 oldest children mature into wonderful adults. When I think they weren't listening to me, I see me come out in them. And it does something to a parent, okay? And my kids dealt with, you know, counseling sessions and all this other stuff because, you know, we've been through a lot as a family. But the whole point, and you've said it over and over and over again, is you've got to learn to love yourself before you can deal with anybody else. And we're saying it, and I know all y'all know, sometimes I say it, you know, RuPaul says it too. If you can't love yourself, how you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen? Okay.
Amen.
Amen. So we are learning to deal with ourselves up in here. Okay, so back to the counseling and all this other fun stuff. When you are with your husband, how do you tag team a session?
You know, it's funny. We don't even practice it. You know, me and my husband, you know, we are definitely the ideal couple. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know, we get in it, and I think because we both have that same passion and drive, you know, we leave it up to God and say, you know what, we're getting ready to go into this session, you know, use us to do what you want us to do. And it ironically, strangely enough, we mesh with each other, and I think on our first couple of sessions, we kind of were like, well, we don't agree. I don't agree with you, and we'll stand in front of them. And I think that's good because they know that we're real. It's not we sitting here going, yeah, I agree. No, you got to be real with your clients. So when one of us disagrees, we tell them. Right. We generally don't disagree. We kind of stay on the same page, but when we disagree with each other in a session, we say, hey, you know, I don't agree with that, and then we explain, here's the reasons why.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's like you said, it's the whole basis of communication. It's, you know, it's all right to have your opinion, okay? And just like you said, just because you're married doesn't mean everything's all, you know, lollipops and roses 24 hours a day. You're gonna disagree. You're gonna have times where it's just like, nope, don't say it because can't deal with it. But that doesn't diminish the relationship or the love for each other just because you disagree on a certain point. And
yes, correct.
No, I'm not a counselor. These are just things I've observed, and I think what I'm hearing from you is not just with, you know, your skill and your education background, but a lot of what you do is of learned experience. Correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we've had our share before we went through all this. We've had our share in 20 years. We've been to marriage counselors, and I'm gonna tell you, I think that's probably one of the reasons why we decided to be a marriage counselor, because some of the people, we have seen it all, and it's like, where are they getting their thought from? In fact, I think we wind up helping ourselves in marriage sessions more so than the counselors did, because some of their thought processes was like, they crazy. Mm-hmm. Where are they getting this from? Mm-hmm. So we were able to help ourselves, and we were like, you know, we've got to change the game about how marriage counseling is worked. Mm-hmm. You know, it's really got to be more so about the couple and learning them and helping them instead of projecting your own personal thought process on what a marriage should look like.
Right. I think that
because every marriage is different.
There's a misconception about marriage in this day and age. That's just my view. Because a lot of people show up
definitely
for
the party.
Yeah, they show up at the party and then they forget that there's something to do after you take off the dress and the tux and the
yeah,
and everybody goes home and you got to deal with each other. How do you deal with each other? It's more than the $50,000 dress or the $10,000 dress and the $30,000 that dad just forked over for a whole bunch of people to eat that half of them he probably don't even know. Okay,
yeah.
And for two families to come together in that 3, 4, 5, 6 hour time and say, yeah, I love you. But or do they really? Have y'all sat down and talked to each other, spent time, did what you needed to do? Have you done family counseling?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and with family counseling, is it a little bit harder than it is doing the marriage counseling or the individual because you're bringing in mom, dad, the kids? It invokes a little bit more separation, doesn't it?
Yes and no. I mean, the crazy thing always in the beginning is always because you have to you're not just getting two people on the same accord. You have to try to get all of them. I think the largest family we've ever really dealt with was 6. And, that was really difficult because everyone obviously still has their own opinions and the way thoughts are. You just got to kind of get them to see what really their roles are, what kind of person. One of the things that we try to do is play a little game, and it kind of is weird, but it's really based on animals and what actually animal they actually come out to be. And we talk about what that animal is like. Is it a lion? What does a lion mean? Well, what does a tiger mean? Well, okay, what's an elephant? And in that process, it shows them kind of where their place is in their family, in their family. Okay. And at that point, they can see. And then, it's about using, crazy thing we use animals, but it shows them, okay, this person is timid, okay? Mm-hmm. So you're not going to, we can't be the elephant and just step all over them. You have to come up with different strategies on how, but remembering who is the most, who is the leader of the pack, which is usually the mom. Right. In this situation, it was the mom, and then you have the kids because dad wasn't there. But sure, you can't step all over mom. Mom is the leader of this whole entire pack. She takes you guys out. You got to figure out how am I going to be respectful to mom? How am I not going to be out here being unruly, not doing the right things? Because mom is going crazy right now. And just, rule them in that way. And then when you find, because you're always going to find the weakest link, and then you're going to find the person who's the most dominant. And generally what we'll do is we'll take those two that's really caused the most friction in the session, and they will get 30, 40 minutes of their of one-on-one sessions to kind of get them to see that it's not all about them, or you can't be as timid, and bring them back in so that when we start having bigger sessions and longer sessions, that it's more that they're not trying to be the most rude. And that generally takes a while because especially if it's a male, I hate to say it, they're the hardest ones to get to let go and say, okay, I'm going to give and we're going to work on this.
Okay. Well, we're going to touch a little bit on that when we come back from commercial break. I'm going to ask you to hold on because we got a few more things that I want to talk about with you before the end of the show. But ladies and gentlemen, this is my special guest, Ms. Charmaine Randall of Leap for Life. She is part of the dynamic duo team of Leap for Life. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about her counseling sessions, where you can find her, all these different things. So everybody hang on in there. This is Lady Blue of the Lady Blue Radio Show, live on WMSKOnlineradio.com, where talk radio just got better. All right. We are back with my special guest, and that would be Miss Charmaine Randall of Leap for Life. Charmaine, you still with us?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We're going to talk a little bit more about Leap for Life and where we can find Leap for Life and where people can get a hold of you. But before we get to that, I just want to say that I enjoy your enthusiasm. I think it's contagious. Congrats on 20 years of marriage. A lot of people, are struggling to make 2 or 3, and you've done 20. And and some people may find this funny to ask, but do you have a secret?
God.
Okay.
Lean on God's understanding.
Ain't nothing wrong.
For real, it's God. If it wasn't for Him, I don't know where I would be. Because marriage is hard, and it takes a lot of dedication and willpower to be able to sustain the things that you have to go through. So, the best advice I can give is just lean on God's understanding. Because
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. When you're scheduling appointments, is there anything that you require from the other person outside of the fact of, having a date and time available for talking? And how long are your sessions usually?
I don't really have, actually, if you go to my website, either way, you can schedule either through my website or you can schedule through the Lead for Life Facebook page, and it'll give you a list of hours. If you don't see it, generally what people do is they will inbox me and my husband and say, hey, are you available? And we'll either tell me or we'll get with them and set up a time. And, we try to meet them where they're at. So either way, we're going to be there for you. Whether they can call, our phone number is actually listed on the Lead for Life page. But generally, they will either contact us personally through our personal Facebook pages, because we keep it open for the public. So
okay, and tell everybody where they can find you, how they can get a hold of you, where you're at on social media.
Excuse me. You can find me on Facebook. I have a simple name, Charmaine Randall. That's me. Or Lead for Life page, Facebook. Lead for Life is spelled. Lord, I forgot how to spell it. Wow, really?
LEAP, the number 4, and then LIFE, okay?
Yes. Lead for Life Counseling, veteran-owned and operated. You can find us there, or you can reach me at 571-336-6730, or you can visit our website page, which is www.leapforlife.com.
Okay, if you can repeat your number one more time, where they can reach you.
571-336-6730.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard from Miss Charmaine Randall, half of the power team of Leap for Life. You can find her across social media. I know you're on Instagram too as well, right, Charmaine?
Yeah. Yep, I always forget about Instagram. I sure am.
So she's on Instagram, she's on Facebook. You've got the Leap for Life website. You can find out their history, what they're about, what they do, the types of counseling that are offered. And it's a wonderful site. So please go over and look. And I mean, you see those beautiful smiling pictures of her and her husband across that web page. So go over there, take a look at that, see the happy couple. And it's been a joy talking to you. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to stop in with Lady Blue and her listeners to give us a little bit about what you do, and we will keep you in our agenda, and we'll probably bring you back at a later date. How about that?
That works for me. Thank you, and I really do appreciate it. It was
not a problem. You have a blessed day, and go out there and just shine like you do always. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Have a good day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Miss Charmaine Randall of Leap for Life, and that was a very informative session. I've always wanted to know the difference between counseling and life coaching. Now I know, okay? And the fact that it's not just the man and the woman that are in a marriage. It could be the family. It could be the single man, the single female. It could be a group. It could be an entity. It could be anything that needs that help. You don't have to be a pastor or a preacher or a deacon or a minister to counsel someone. If you have the education, if you have if you've been given the spirit or the gift to do so, and you're doing it the right way, and you're being led by the Spirit, then hey, do what God has led you to do. On that, I do want to say thank you again to Charmaine. If you're listening, Charmaine, thank you so much for joining me today. And now I just want to touch a little bit. I had a little bit of a rough spot earlier this morning. but that's okay. I'm going to come back and tell you a little bit about what I was talking about earlier in just a second, but I want to focus on a couple more positive notes that I have on my notepad here. If I talk about my fan page, the Real Lady Blue one, and my Lady Blue Talk Radio group, but I post a lot of positive videos that I find on the Real Lady Blue one. And one that I just thought was so cute was a young man by the name of Anthony Coleman, a 7-year-old boy with autism. And he did a video speech regarding having autism and about being a regular boy. Nothing about his autism makes him any different except for the fact that he has autism. He just has something that you don't. And it is something that he deals with. And he's a bright young man, and he's a very, energetic young man from what I can tell. But if you have a chance, go over there and check out that video. You'll be, your heart will be warmed by the speech that this young man gives who has autism. And another thing, I know some of you, I don't know how you feel about animals, but I love animals, even though I'm allergic to some of them. I love sea life. I love, those things when you can explore and see those things up close. It's fantastic. When you see something deplorable happening, it grips you. And I think a lot of the things that we see lately is, the trash that's being thrown into the ocean, the things that, these animals are seeing as food that's killing them, or it's strangling them, or it's, it's taking them out of their natural element. And there's a company in Saltwater, Florida, who, before I get to the company, the little rings that you hold the 6-packs of Coke or beer in, well, some of those find their way to the ocean. And some companies are trying to make them what they call photodegradable. And photodegradable means it takes a process of time for them to disintegrate. And it's usually 90 days or more, so 3 months or more for this to disintegrate and not be harmful. Well, in the meantime, you have animals that are thinking this is food, or they're getting their head or neck caught in it, or a foot or a wing, or whatever the case may be, and they can't function in life and in the circle of life and carry on. So this company in Saltwater, Florida, who makes beer, is taking the end product of making the beer, all the grain that's left over from the beer making process, and they're making an edible ring holder. It looks just like the normal plastic ring. You probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference, except it might be a little thicker, it might look just a little bit different. But the thing about this ring is that it if it hits the water and an animal gets to it, the animal can eat it. So you're getting your beer and the animal's getting food. That's not licensed to go and toss things into the ocean, but if you ever are in Saltwater, Florida, and you come across this company, you come across their beer or their whatever their liquid beverage is that they're doing this with, take a look at the ring. Notice that it's biodegradable, and I hope, just like they said in the video, that other companies catch on to this and start thinking about the world that we live in today, especially our beautiful oceans, because there is a lot of beauty out there, ladies and gentlemen. You will be in awe of what you will see that goes on under the water. Even in my 5 minutes of scuba diving, I saw a lot, okay? But anyway, I wanted to touch a little bit on what I had spoke on earlier this morning that some of you may have missed, and I'm pretty sure most of you may have missed, and I just had something on my heart, and it had to do with all the the killings, the lying, the just the masks that are being worn by those that we have come to know as either celebrities or candidates or whatever the case may be. I'm just sick and tired. I'm sick and tired. I'm the daughter of a law enforcement officer. My father passed away 6 years ago. I understand law enforcement because I lived it. I live it now. Okay, I watched my father go through riots, holdups, barricades, go into situations where I would hope and pray he did not have to use his weapon. And lucky for, or I shouldn't say blessed for him, he only had to use his weapon once. And that was just to scare off someone. It was not aimed to shoot at anyone. So the first point I'm making is the fact that there is no what do I want to say? There's no I can't even think of what I want to say. There's no animosity towards police. Okay, my father was not one of the bad ones. That's what I'm trying to say. The other thing that I'm trying to say is with the senseless shootings that have gone on in the last week, the last few months, the last year, years past that. Okay, the last 2 shootings. First of all, my first response is stop putting every police officer in the same barrel with the one that did the dirty deed. There are good police officers out there. There are police officers that do their job and they do it well. And there are police officers who, even though they're in this family called the thin blue line, they don't wish to be associated with the bad seed. Okay? And I send my condolences to the families who have lost in the past couple of days. It was senseless. It never should have happened. But my point that I want to make to you is this. When you talk about what's going on, just, think for a second and not put everybody in that barrel, because everybody was not on scene with that person when it happened. Okay? The video evidence speaks for itself. The police chief that was in Oklahoma that had something to say against what happened, he stated his feelings. He stated what he felt and what he thought. He's still a police officer in the end, but the point being is that it never should have happened. And I believe that this female police officer knows this. I believe her lawyer knows this. And I believe her family knows this. Okay? What happened down in North Carolina, of course, that's still trying to be sorted out as to who did what. But may I just say, the looting, the breaking in and the breaking of things is not helping anybody. Okay? Coming together and talking, yes, there's going to be emotions. Let me just state that. There's going to be emotions. People are upset. I'm upset. I'm flabbergasted. I am dismayed by what is going on. But I'm not out destroying my neighborhood. The neighborhood I have to live in, that I have to go through to go to work and shop in and things. I'm not destroying the neighborhood to get a point across, because it's not going to do anything for the person that's gone. We need to do what we can collectively and without destruction. We really need to think back on what Martin Luther King did. He did his peacefully. Yeah, he went to jail a couple of times. Yeah, he wasn't the perfect man, but he did it peacefully. And we really need to take example from that. Okay? We need to leave the Colin Kaepernick situation alone. We really need to look at what he's standing against and stop taking personally that he's stepping on something. He's not stepping on anything. He is taking a stand against the degradation, the deplorable acts, and the things that are being done to black citizens. Okay? He is saying, and him not standing for the national anthem. Okay, I'm going to say this. Maybe he didn't pick the right venue. Maybe the venue didn't suit you all. But guess what? He's still getting paid, and you're still sitting in your living room. Leave it alone. Go and look at what he's in standing against. It's not the country he's standing against. It's what is happening in the country that he's standing against. So that's 2 different things. Not where he's at, but what is going on where he's at. That is what is happening with Colin Kaepernick. We need to leave it alone. Okay? That's just it, point blank. As far as the presidential campaign is going, I'm about done with that. I am so tired of the lies and the whether you are going for Hillary or whether you are going for Donald Trump, here's my point. I would rather not have a man who consistently lies. Consistently. Not just one time, not just an occasional. Consistently. Every time he is in front of the camera, this man comes out of his mouth with stuff that makes no sense. And now he's claiming to stand up for the black community. Please. Stop. Just stop right now, because you're not doing me and or anybody else a favor. And for you to degrade a pastor in her own church like that, shame on you. Shame on you. She wasn't scared of you. She didn't have anything to fear of you. You just didn't like the fact that a woman took charge of what was hers and said, that's not what I invited you here for. You don't want a woman to overshadow you. Well, honey, that's just one woman. You haven't dealt with the rest of America yet. And we are not a business deal. We are not a business conference. And we are not a social call. You want to deal, and trust me, there's some angry black women out there, okay? You ain't dealt with the half of them yet. So I'm just tired of the mask. Take the masks off. Stop being who you're not. Stop being one way one day and one way the next. And just be who you are. Because it takes more energy to hold up a lie than it does to tell the truth. And I'm so tired. I don't even want to look at the TV anymore. Every time the first thing you hear is Donald Trump. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm done. I don't want to hear Donald Trump anymore. I don't want to even see the news anymore. I'm sick of it. And the point was made, if you look, my uncle made a very good point the other day. Voting. Think about it. Why do you think so many felony charges are dropped on minority communities? Felonies. While others are running around with misdemeanors, they get a slap on the hand, they serve good time, and they're gone. Because once you get a felony, you can't vote. And so that is systematic takeout. Think about it. Systematic takeout. So that you can't vote. Your vote won't count. You don't have the right to say anything. The trick there is find another way to do it. The right way, the legal way. Okay? Stop picking up the guns. Easier said than done. We need protection. You have a right to your protection. All of us have a right to that protection. Not taking anybody's protection away from them. What I am saying is this. Think. Just think. The weapon can't do anything as long as it's sitting on the table. It's the minute you pick it up that it becomes a problem. The fear factor that's going on right now is that we're waking up and they don't want us to be alert. They want us to stay subjugated to where we're at and what we're doing. And as long as we're in the yes sir mode, they don't have a problem with us. As long as there's chaos, everything's fine. We need to collectively come together. We need to support each other. We need to support our local business people and stop funneling our money towards the people we will never see, never talk to, never lay a hand on, won't answer an email, won't acknowledge you as an individual. When you've got the same mom and pop store, the same local entity that is giving you the same product in the same manner with better customer service, and you won't even give them the time of day. You'd rather rob their store or degrade what they have just to make yourself look better. We need to stop destroying ourselves from within. We need to start lifting each other up. You may climb the ladder, you may step over a few people on the way, but just remember, you got to come down. There's a down to that. And if you mistreated people on the way up, you got to meet those people on the way down. So we need to remember that. And just on a lighter note, ladies and gentlemen, we need to think about, excuse my phone here, we need to think about, empathy versus sympathy. Okay? In when I say that, it means, to me, it's like, when you change the way you are, you change the life you have. When you say, I feel you, that's empathy. When you say, I feel for you, that's sympathy. That means that you know what they're going through. You understand. Okay? And you have to ask yourself, what are you watering? What are you giving life to on a daily basis? Okay? Are you giving life to the negativity, or are you giving it to the positive? Okay? Are you recycling the past? Are you getting in bed and cuddling with what you already know or are comfortable with because you fear making a change? Are you constantly on a path of destruction, looking for a way to get off, but when you see that way, you reject it because it's unfamiliar to you? Okay? Insecurity and discouragement plague all of us. It's not just some of us who go through it. Okay, we all battle negativity, we all battle disbelief, we all have a hard time turning off the voices that are in our heads and our hearts. And what do we do to get out of that cycle of doubt, worry, helplessness, fear, dread, all of that? What do we do to get out of it? How do we take ourselves out of it? Well, we start one step at a time. And you start with you. Write down what it is that bugs you. Write what it is that makes you happy. Start focusing on the happy. Ask yourself, what am I blessed with today? What am I grateful for today? What can I do to go out this door and not only make myself happy, but bless somebody else with that light and that happiness at the same time? What can I do? And that is something that will catapult you into a whole different area. Knowing that you've done something that is uplifting, positive, motivating, inspiring, living out loud, loving out loud. That's what it's about. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go out there and you live out loud and love out loud. You can find me, Lady Blue, all across social media. I am on Instagram at LADYBLUU1. Also on Twitter, same thing. I also have another page on Twitter, which is Natural Blue One, BLUU1. LadyBlue1.com. The Real Lady Blue One on Facebook. Joy Does Come in the Morning on Facebook. The Lady Blue Talk Radio group on Facebook. And I'm on Blastfy. I am on Co-Promote. I am on Google, so you can Google me. And just, ladies and gentlemen, remember. 50 Shades of Blue, October 22nd. 2:30 to 4:45, the Enoch Pratt location on 433 33rd Street. Make sure you're there. Tag a friend, tell a friend, and make sure to donate. And remember, weeping may endure for a night, but joy does come in the morning. This is your fave blogger, Lady Blue, signing off. Y'all have a blessed day.
To motivate's the motivation. It's not the money, it's funny cause it's still motivating. Don't give the haters the cold shoulder, you motivate them to do better cause maybe then they'll hold the hating. Don't just follow your dreams, man, you gotta chase them. Never follow your heart, man, it's not a racing. Don't wait for God to do the placement. You gotta set it up yourself before he puts his face in. See, if you take one step, he'll take two. And if you move forward, then he'll make moves. Joy comes in the morning, even at night too. So if you need motivation, better call Lady Blue.